Hi Internet, welcome to the Greg Troyan YouTube channel, and welcome to Greg's 14 Adventures, a weekly vlog where I discuss my journey through Final Fantasy XIV as a first-time player. I beat A Realm Reborn back in 2022, and I'm finally finishing up the rest of the game. These vlogs are documenting my journey. If you like these videos and want to support their continued production, the best way to do that is to like the video, share it on a relevant social media site like Reddit, and leave a comment. Thanks, pal. Hey friends, how you doing? It's your buddy Greg. Hope you're having an awesome day out there. If you're having an awesome day, let me know in the comments below. It's been another wild and crazy week in the Greg Troyan household. Feel like I say that every week, but last week was a lot of crunch time for me. A crunch in more ways than one, unfortunately. So as mentioned last week, I had a bunch of overtime at work. And on top of that, the washing machine broke like 2 weeks ago, and the laundry room was having a leak, so we had to, try to fix it, then get a plumber, then frantically find a new washing machine, which, when you don't have a lot of money, that is a very unexpected, last-minute, big budget item. And so we managed to find a washing machine, and the time it was going to be delivered was during my normal play session with Summoner Jobin, which I play with my buddy Summoner Jobin once a week. And so they're like, we can give this to you right now, but you need to be ready. And so I had to cut my play session with Summoner Jobin short by like an hour. So normally we would play for like 2 hours, but this session we were only able to play for about an hour. So rather than continuing the Hildebrand quest line, I'm like, you know what, we don't have much time. Let's just do a cool optional dungeon. And so we did the Aurum Vale for the first time. I really like the look of this dungeon, and I like that it's a carryover from 1.0. I like that they decided this is so cool, we need to make sure it's in 2.0 and onwards. Like, I thought that was nice that they were keeping the legacy of the original game alive with this dungeon. And, I don't know, I like it visually. It reminds me of, like, the Boyata tree in Final Fantasy XI. I don't know, I just dig the vibes. I like it. But yeah, then after that, slammed busy the rest of the week with overtime, so didn't really have any time for 14 playing. And I was hoping to play some 14 over the weekend, but I ended up throwing out my back. I wasn't doing any heavy lifting. I wasn't, like, bending a weird way. I was just cooking breakfast, normal, just flipping stuff over in the skillet. And all of a sudden, I felt this intense, crippling pain and just collapsed to the ground and was barely able to move. I managed to get just enough of, the food done where I could put it away safely so, like, the cats wouldn't hurt themselves on a hot stove. And then just end up lying on the floor, writhing in pain. Like, just any slight movement was painful. Laying still was painful. I had never been so unable to move physically as when that happened. And unfortunately, my wife was sick too, so she couldn't really help me out either. So what we ended up doing, we actually ended up ordering some groceries, and I got some aspirin because we don't ever keep aspirin in the house because I never use it. And my wife got me some, like, high dosage aspirin. And I just took some aspirin and, like, wore heating pads all weekend. And basically, like, spent the first day crawled to get the groceries and get the aspirin. And then I was able to, like, walk slowly but painfully. And now the back pain is gone, but it was a few days of just, like, really intense pain, barely able to move. Like I said, I wasn't doing any heavy lifting, bending weird. It's just, unfortunately, just getting old. But yeah, the first day of the back pain, I was in so much pain that, like, even, like, going to plug in my external hard drive for Final Fantasy XIV was too much of a Herculean task. So I was just laying around, writhing in pain. I started to feel a little bit better on Sunday, and my wife decided she wanted to play an RPG with me because we hadn't played an RPG together in a while. And we started playing Mother, Earthbound Zero, the first game in the Mother trilogy. That was what she picked. And it's pretty fun. It's definitely a NES title. It feels like Final Fantasy I in a lot of ways, where it's an interesting blueprint for the series. The music is really good. The vibes are good, but it has this open-ended nature that doesn't really direct you where to go too much. And there are some, like, annoying archaic mechanics where it's, like, just on that line of being pleasant to play. And I would say with Mother 1, I think I actually enjoy playing it more than Final Fantasy I. Like, I think I am vibing with the world exploration aspect. And it does feel like I'm able to grasp onto the vibes better in Mother 1 than in Final Fantasy I. But I like the iconography and music better in Final Fantasy I. So it's like, which one would I rather play? Mother? But which one do I feel like offered more to the zeitgeist and of things I enjoy? Final Fantasy I. But yeah, the entirety of my playtime this week was pretty much just on Monday and Tuesday, doing all of the Alexander raids in a 2-day marathon. I really wanted to get all of the Alexander raids done in one video, and I wanted to get all of my playtime done before Wednesday morning so I could record the vlog. Because I was wanting to get the entire vlog hopefully done by Wednesday, because Thursday, the new Another Eden Final Fantasy IX crossover comes out, and I really want to play that day one. I'm super excited for that. Another Eden is a game I've been playing for a very, very long time, and the best way to describe Another Eden is basically imagine a SNES RPG, but with the scale and size of an MMORPG. I have more hours in Another Eden than probably any video game I've ever played. I think it's really, really excellent. I think it's super underrated. And all of the crossovers that Another Eden does, they do really, really well, where it's not just, oh, we stuck some characters in our game. Like, the Another Eden crossovers are all mini RPGs in their own right, like between 10 and 30 hours worth of content. There's side quests, there's new mechanics introduced from the different series that they do crossovers with. So for Final Fantasy IX, they've got the ATE, Active Time Event system, they've got Trance, they've got the Equipment Skill Building system, they've got Mognet, they've got Chocobo Hot and Cold, they've got Chocographs. So Final Fantasy IX being one of my favorite Final Fantasies, and Another Eden, being one of my favorite RPGs, this is something that I'm just really excited about. I think it looks excellent, and it is a limited time crossover. Most Another Eden crossovers do not have a time limit. So, they're just in the game forever, but the Square Enix crossovers all have time limits. The Chrono Cross and Octopath crossovers, those were both 5-year limited time events, and so there's another year on the Chrono Cross one, and I think 3 years on the Octopath one. But the Final Fantasy IX one is only 6 months. Now, I'll probably beat it, in a week. I don't think it'll take me 6 months to get through it, but I just want to play it day one, and so I wanted to get all of the Alexander raids done this week, and I was hoping to do some of them over the weekend to spread out them a bit more, but like I said, I was barely able to move last weekend, so I didn't have the energy to play 14, and by the time I was starting to feel a bit better, my wife wanted to play Mother. But yeah, so I wanted to get all the Alexander raids done on Monday and Tuesday, and I was actually able to do it. It was a bit of a crunch to get all of them done in such a short time frame, and actually it's even a bit of a crunch just to do this vlog. I'm super nasally and a little bit more difficult to talk than normal. Man, the winter allergies are killing me right now. So yeah, big crunch, big crunch. But I will say this, I loved the Alexander raids. I had so much fun with them. I loved the story. I loved the vibes. I just was so into this section of the game, where the lukewarmness I had with the last couple Heavensward pieces of patch content I did, that was not the issue here. This was basically exactly what I wanted from 14 patch content, and it was wonderful all around. I loved, like I said, the story was really captivating, both from a character perspective and a lore perspective. I was just into all the different twists and turns of the plot. I thought the raids themselves were really cool set pieces. I just loved the vibes of them. I loved how they got experimental with camera angles and almost felt like Xenogears with how creative the camera angles got for what you're doing going through the dungeons. And I loved sliding on the pipes and stuff, and it had almost this Disney Tarzan skateboarder vibe, and also that one scene from Final Fantasy X where they're sliding down the wire to go rescue Yuna from the wedding. It was cool. It was just genuinely cool all around. And I know that some people, I guess, are sick of these raids because they always get them in the duty finder whenever they're doing raids. But as someone playing them for the first time, they were just an absolute treat. I just adored them so much. So what I ended up doing to do these raids was I sort of did them in 3 chunks. And so for the first 4 raids, I had one of my buddies from my Discord server, Sean Darko, help me get through those unsynced. So he actually woke up early in the morning to help me out, help me get through the raids, like specifically set his alarm to help me get through those raids early in the morning because I said, hey, this is the content I'm hoping to get done this week. If anybody is available tomorrow morning, it'd be super appreciated. And he showed up. Just a really solid dude. I'm so appreciative of the people who are taking time out of their days to help me get through 14 content, the people who have joined my Discord server. And Sean Darko is just like cool in general. Like he was posting in my Discord server about how he was volunteering at Toys for Tots. And just solid dude, helping me play 14, doing charity work, and just a generally pleasant person to talk to. Solid dude. And then the second 4 I was able to do by basically later that same day hopping in the duty finder and just doing them properly with a synced party and doing the raids with the mechanics as intended. So the middle 4 I did synced properly in the duty finder. And then the last 4 of the raids I did them with another member of my Discord, Kurgan Sunstrider. And that was really cool because Kurgan was posting his awesome new glamour on the Discord like a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago. I don't know. Time is a blur. Time is an illusion. But I saw his sick looking armor, and then to see it in game with me was just awesome. His armor set looks sick. It looks really cool. And again, I appreciate that I had people just willing to help me out early in the morning before work. Just yeah, I've got nothing going on. I'll help you out. That's just, again, I really appreciate the friends I'm making on my Discord server because we're just having these really great conversations. Kurgan's got a YouTube channel he's talking about relaunching because his content that he used to make was really good, so he's going to get back at it. So I'm excited for that. But making all kinds of just really cool connections on the Discord server with people. And again, they're taking time out of their day to help me play 14 to get through this content. And so regardless of the content itself, I've been appreciative of the connections I've been making. But the fact that this content was also really good, that extra cherry on top. This was so much fun. I love the Alexander quests. I don't know if I have as much specifics to say about the story in that I need to summarize the entire thing. Often when doing my vlogs, I'll do a beat for beat recap of the story because I will often have thoughts on different individual parts, and that will be the most coherent way to talk about the stories. This happened and this was my thoughts on this. But I don't think that's as necessary for this one, so I think I'll just address certain highlights from it. So the general plot of the Alexander quest is basically that the Illuminati, the bad goblins near Idleshire, are trying to take advantage of this Alexander Primal that has mysteriously appeared to use it to dominate the world. The Alexander Primal is revealed to have time travel powers, and there's this big paradoxical time loop storyline that is a bit complicated, and I don't know if I would do it justice in my recap. There are some lore videos that summarize the Alexander storyline, but this isn't necessarily supposed to be a lore series, just my thoughts on 14, going through the content as a first-time player. And so, if I feel there's a need to recap, to convey my thoughts, I'll recap. But if I feel a recap is just being a recap for the sake of being a recap, I don't feel the need to do it in these vlogs because they're meant to be broad strokes, getting a conversation going. But basically, it is about the power play between the Illuminati and our heroes trying to stop them and dealing with the Primal itself. Some of the significant characters in this questline are familiar faces like Biggs, Wedge, Sid, Yastola. But a character that made a big impression on me is Roundrox, one of the goblins, a young goblin who just has this super enthusiastic, innocent heart. And she is just a really endearing character. You grow to love her throughout this questline. I thought she was really great. I thought that the main villain of the questline, Quick Thinks All Thoughts, I thought he was a great character too. I like that he actually... spoilers, but this is a spoiler vlog, rebuilt his body with a lot of mechanical parts, so he's more machine than goblin at this point. I thought that he was a very cold-hearted villain, and I liked the twist that he had gotten a diary from the future, and so that's how he was able to predict the movements of our heroes. But obviously the standout here was definitely Mid. The great thing about Mid as a character, she has that great emotional arc of dealing with her past trauma and all the stuff with summoning Alexander originally and, doing it because she just, had so much faith in her lover that she was willing to follow him to the ends of the earth, but then sort of trying to clean up the mess, and also thinking that his spirit is inside Alexander. Like, all that stuff is great. I thought her ending was beautiful, the beautiful sacrifice of it. But then, because of like the time loop shenanigans, that eventually she will be reborn in the past. Like, it's a little bit of a complicated time travel plot that is easy to understand, but harder to explain. And I don't think I'm gonna nail it here. Like, if I was doing a very detailed video essay, I could explain this plot pretty well, but if I'm doing a unscripted vlog with my thoughts, I'm going to mess this up. So don't take the lore from me necessarily in this vlog, but I did think it was a very well-crafted time loop plot. And the great thing about Mid is that she seems like a character that would be made by one of the players than by one of the devs. At this point in the game, I haven't seen too many auras in terms of the MSQ. I've barely seen any of them, but I've seen a lot of player characters playing as them. And so for me, seeing an aura feels like, oh, this is like the cute anime girl aura that I've seen so many players play as, but I haven't really seen them integrated into the storyline that much. And so this really felt like the kind of design-wise, felt like something a player would make rather than the devs. And to see one integrated into the storyline was really fun for me. Also, I love how much of the storyline revolved around a time-traveling cat. That was just so awesome for me. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big cat lover. I'm a bit cat-obsessed, just love cats. Cats are freaking great. And, that adds an extra layer to me because Another Eden, the subtitle for the game is The Cat Beyond Time and Space. And while Another Eden is a traditional RPG in a lot of aspects, one of the unique flourishes to the game is how much of the storyline revolves around time-traveling cats and how they're integrated into the plot. Like, that is actually a pretty major plot point in Another Eden, is the importance of time-traveling cats. That is a significant lore point. And so, as I'm gearing up to play more Another Eden this week, to have a time-traveling cat storyline in Final Fantasy XIV felt like the perfect transition for going into a time-traveling story involving cats with Final Fantasy IX. Like, this entire storyline and the way it ended very cleanly. It feels like a perfect stopping point to jump into something else after this, but also feeling fully satisfied. And then when I jump back into 14, after playing the Another Eden crossover, it'll feel like it ended in a very satisfying place for me. But adding that time travel cat aspect thing, it's like a chef's kiss for what I'm about to do in my gaming life. It's just like, oh, that could not have come at a better time. Like, right before doing that Final Fantasy IX Another Eden crossover, just awesome. So before I get into my thoughts on the music, this is the mid-video or almost end-of-video call to action. This is the part of the video where I ask you to please like the video and to subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And most importantly, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the Alexander raids. Were you as hot on them as me when you first played them? Are you sick of them now? I am genuinely curious as to what you think of these raids because I freaking loved them on basically every level. Oh yeah, so the main video call to action is where I plug other things that are coming up. I just dropped a new video about Final Fantasy XI. You should check that out. And also I've got a live stream where we're going to be ranking the music from my band's first 2 albums. You should come check that out in the distant month of February. And speaking of music, let's talk about the music for the Alexander raids. So I had several people in my Discord server say, hey, make sure you listen to the music, especially if you're doing the fights unsynced, because that way you'll be able to hear the entire composition. The music in these raids have a very strong reputation, it seems, in the 14 community. Everyone's like, you gotta listen to the Alexander raid music. And this seems like one of the first major influences of Soken really bringing in those rock vocal tracks and, the Primals really taking center stage in the game. The Primals being the band. And I'll be honest, in the game, the first time those songs came up, they didn't really work for me. I'm a guy with very wide music tastes, and I have an extensive musical, it feels silly to call it career, but I've done a lot of things in the music industry. I've done jazz, I've done rock, I was a member of a symphony orchestra, I was a touring bassist for a punk band, I did a orchestral film score for a full-length feature film, I've done hair metal, I've written songs on guitar and piano, on recordings I've done vocals, I've done guitar, I've done bass, I've done keyboards, and like I said, I've written for an entire orchestra. So I've got and like in terms of what I listen to everything from Sabrina Carpenter to Megadeth to Al Green to Elvis to Whitney Houston, Kiss, Bon Jovi, Bob Seger, Michael Stanley, Taylor Swift, Thin Lizzy, Disney musical soundtracks, RPG OSTs from RPGs I haven't even played. So I've got a really wide musical palette, wide musical experience, and wide level of musical acceptance for a lot of things. And I will be honest, the vocals in the Primals don't do much for me. The whole, like, mechanical, almost rap thing, I tend to like a more melodic approach in my vocals in general. It's one of the reasons why I really didn't appreciate most rap until a few years ago. There were some rap artists that I liked, but overall, rap was a genre that just wasn't for me because, again, I enjoy melody as sort of a primary musical force. And rap is pretty much all rhythmic with very little melody. And so the vocals for the Primals being very rhythmic and amelodic, it doesn't do as much for me in a series where the primary focus of the music generally is upon strong melodies. And also, like, in the context of the game, it felt very awkward when it just sort of randomly showed up, those vocal tracks. In the same way that, like, I know everyone likes Otherworld now in Final Fantasy X, but even today, I still think, like, I don't know if I think this fits. I don't know if this necessarily is working for me. I think it's fun and campy in the same way that, like, the Disturbed songs in, like, the Dragon Ball Z, like, Funimation dub movies work. Like, they're silly and fun, and I'm enjoying it. But I don't know if it's, like, the best choice for it to land for me personally. And also, like, I went and watched some, like, Primals live footage and stuff, and it's weird seeing, like, Koji Fox acting like a rock star. Or no, he genuinely is a rock star. Like, the Primals are able to fill up arenas. They're a very successful band, but, like, in the nicest way possible. Like, he feels like a video game developer nerd and not like a rock star. And so to see him, like, rocking out is, it's amusing to me. And to see him rocking out like that, it's like, it's very cute. You know, it's sort of like the opposite of myself, actually. When people meet me out in public, they think, like, whoa, that is like a badass, tough rocker dude. And then when they get to know me, like, actually, I'm a giant nerd. And that has actually been a reason why most of my relationships didn't last. Most of my relationships didn't last because of that. Most of the girls who met me thought, like, oh, he's like a hot rocker guy, and, like, he is in a band, he's really cool. And then they talked to me and it's like, he talks too much about, like, RPGs and anime and stuff. Yeah, he's such a nerd. And so Koji Fox, like, you know, shows up to work, looks like a nerd, and then is secretly, like, rocking out. To me, that's very amusing. As someone with that duality on the other side of things, I appreciate that. But yeah, the musical first impressions, like, weren't doing it much for me. And I had heard some of this before, like, outside of playing the game, because people were like, the Primals are so good. And so I checked out some of these songs, like, years ago. I'm just like, I don't really get it. It's fine. Like, I enjoy the musicality of, like, the basically everything except the vocals. Like, the vocals are the one thing that were just holding me back from the Primals for many, many years. But I basically just had, like, a playlist of all the Alexander songs, and I just played them on loop for, like, a day while working to get a better feel for them. And at this point, I can say I do enjoy all of them and have been vibing with them. And at this point, I would say I now, quote-unquote, get it, and have been really digging them. I've had the songs stuck in my head, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of their music as I continue through 14. Again, the instrumentation, like the guitar music, is not out of my wheelhouse in the slightest. I mean, I've written stuff like that, so it doesn't faze me, that musicality of it. The biggest barrier for me has been the vocals, in that the sort of rapping style doesn't work as much for a guy who enjoys melody, and it feels awkward in a game series where melody is like the thing, the main thing for the other games. For 15 other games, it's like, hey, you guys, melody is super important. And then for these songs, it's like, melody, who needs it? Like, check out the sick guitar riff, which, don't get me wrong, like, they're really fun, and they're not devoid of melody, but they're very interesting, and I appreciate like how off the wall it is in the context of the series. So I definitely applaud Soken for going for it and for just coaxing his coworkers into doing it because they didn't want to pay a professional singer. I admire that as a guy who understands budget constraints when doing projects. Like, there are certain decisions my band has made in terms of like, we could spend more money and make it better by doing it this way, but we don't have the budget, so we're doing it this way. I understand, my friend. I understand. But yeah, closing thoughts on the Alexander raids, just excellent. I love them. I know a lot of people are probably sick of them at this point, but first impressions, I would say that they gave me exactly what I wanted from Final Fantasy XIV. I wanted, cool spectacle. I got that. I wanted great storytelling with strong characters. Got that. Great music. Even if it's not the music I necessarily would want overall in a Final Fantasy game, I would say the music is great. So this was a home run. This is what I want from Final Fantasy XIV. So next week, there will still be a vlog, but it will not be a 14 vlog. Next week, I'm going to be doing a vlog about the Another Eden Final Fantasy IX crossover. Going to go into details about that. I hope that all of you who are here for the 14 vlogs check that out, because I think it's going to be something really special, and I want to share my thoughts on it with all of you. I'm going to upload all my footage from it, so you can check that out, but I'll also do a vlog detailing my thoughts on it, and whether or not I think it's worth your time. But whether or not it's worth your time, please take your time to watch the video, because I think if even the crossover is not good, my thoughts and commentary should be good. Huh? But once again, thank you so much for watching. All the support just means a lot to me. Just, the people who play with me, the people who join my Discord, the people who comment, the liking, the sharing on social media. You have no idea how much it means to me. And again, these vlogs, like, I make the tiniest bit of money from them, where they basically pay for my 14 sub and will pay for things to help better the channel, like this microphone that I'm using. This was paid for by that Final Fantasy XI video essay. So, the support, you might not think you're doing much by liking and commenting and sharing the video, but it helps so much, and it means so much. Not just from the monetary perspective of like, oh, I got $3 from this video, but in the sense that I'm just having so much fun playing 14 and talking about 14 with all of you, and I'm super excited to talk about the Alexander raids in the comments below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.